James Traficant was a prominent and controversial figure in American politics, known for his flamboyant style and a series of scandals that marked his career. Serving as a U.S. representative from Ohio's 17th District from 1985 until his expulsion in 2002, Traficant's life was filled with events that shocked and intrigued the public. This video delves into 10 of the most scandalous and shocking facts about James Traficant, providing detailed insights into each. Number 1. Early life, athletic pursuits, and personal life. James Anthony Traficant Jr. was born on May 8, 1941, in Youngstown, Ohio, a city dominated by the steel industry and known for its ties to organized crime. Traficant was the son of James Traficant Sr., a truck driver, and Agnes Farkas, a homemaker of Italian and Hungarian descent. Growing up in a blue-collar Catholic household, Traficant developed a sense of resilience and defiance that would define his political career. Traficant attended Cardinal Mooney High School, where he excelled in football and earned a scholarship to the University of Pittsburgh. As quarterback for Pitt's football team, he played alongside future NFL Hall of Famer Mike Ditka, an experience that showcased his leadership and competitive nature. In 1963, Traficant was drafted in the 20th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers, but his professional football dreams were cut short when he was released from the team during training camp. Undeterred, Traficant pursued education, earning a BS in education in 1963. He later completed 2 MS degrees, one in educational administration from Pitt in 1973 and another in counseling from Youngstown State University in 1976. His personal life reflected his softer side. He married Patricia Tish Chapa, and together they had 2 daughters, Robin and Elizabeth. Tish often described their home life as joyful and full of laughter, painting a contrast to Traficant's fiery public persona. Number 2. Acquittal on bribery charges as sheriff. In 1983, while serving as sheriff of Mahoning County, Traficant was indicted on RICO charges for allegedly accepting $163,000 in bribes from organized crime families. The money reportedly came from the Pittsburgh Mafia and the Cleveland Mafia in exchange for protecting their illegal activities. In a move that stunned legal experts, Traficant chose to represent himself in federal court. His defense was as bold as his personality. He argued that the money had been part of a self-initiated undercover operation to expose corruption. Using a mix of charm, defiance, and dramatic flair, he captivated the jury. Despite overwhelming evidence presented by prosecutors, including wiretap recordings, Traficant persuaded the jury that his actions were part of a noble cause. On June 15, 1983, the jury delivered a not guilty verdict, making Traficant the only person in history to win a RICO case while representing himself. His acquittal solidified his image as a man willing to take on the system, even under extreme pressure. Number 3. Expulsion from Congress following conviction. In 2002, after serving 9 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives, Traficant faced his greatest downfall. On April 11, 2002, he was convicted on 10 felony charges, including bribery, tax evasion, and racketeering. These charges stemmed from allegations that he accepted $250,000 in kickbacks, used Congressional staff for personal labor, and forced them to return portions of their salaries to him. Following his conviction, the House Ethics Committee recommended his expulsion. On July 24, 2002, the House of Representatives voted 420-1 to expel him, making him only the second member of Congress to be expelled since the Civil War. Traficant's lone supporter was Gary Condit, a California congressman embroiled in his own scandal. Even after his expulsion, Traficant remained defiant. He declared his intention to run for Congress from prison, saying, "I'm not going away quietly." Although he received 15% of the vote as an independent, he lost to his former aide, Tim Ryan, in the 17th District. Number 4. Forced labor allegations. During his congressional tenure, Traficant blurred the line between official duties and personal gain. He required his congressional aides to perform a variety of personal chores, including cleaning horse stalls on his farm in Greenford, Ohio, mending fences, and working on his houseboat in Washington, D.C. One aide testified that Traficant demanded staff members repair his farm equipment, cut firewood, and even install lighting for his horse stables. Another claimed he had to rebuild the engine of Traficant's vintage tractor during office hours. These allegations became a cornerstone of the federal case against him, ultimately contributing to his conviction. Number 5. Unconventional courtroom antics. Traficant's 2002 trial became a spectacle, largely due to his unorthodox legal strategies. Representing himself once again, he accused federal prosecutors of a witch hunt and launched fiery tirades against the judge and jury. At one point, he waved his shovel in the courtroom, declaring, "This is what I've been doing my whole life, digging out the truth." His courtroom antics, which included yelling "Beam me up," in reference to his distrust of government, often elicited laughter and disbelief. Despite his theatrics, Traficant failed to win over the jury this time, and his conviction marked the end of his congressional career. Number 6. Alleged ties to organized crime. Throughout his political career, Traficant was plagued by allegations of ties to organized crime. These accusations first surfaced during his time as Mahoning County Sheriff in the early 1980s when the FBI discovered he had accepted $163,000 in payments from the Pittsburgh Mafia family and the Cleveland Mafia. Although he argued that the money was part of an undercover sting operation, suspicions about his connections to criminal figures lingered for decades. Federal investigations revealed that Traficant had received campaign donations from individuals tied to Mafia-corrupted labor unions. During his trial, prosecutors presented evidence of phone recordings in which mobsters referred to him as "a friend of ours," a phrase indicating close ties to the Mafia. Traficant steadfastly denied these allegations, insisting that his only loyalty was to the working-class people of Ohio. However, these accusations followed him throughout his career, fueling both his populist image and his critics' claims that he was part of the very corruption he railed against. Number 7. Presidential run and prison sentence. In an audacious move, Traficant launched a presidential campaign in 1988 as an independent candidate, running on a platform of anti-corruption and economic reform. Although he lacked the financial resources and party backing to mount a serious challenge, his candidacy reflected his maverick nature and willingness to challenge the political establishment. Traficant garnered minimal national attention, but his fiery speeches and sharp criticism of Washington corruption resonated with some voters in Ohio. After his 2002 conviction, Traficant was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. He served 7 years before being released on September 2, 2009, at the age of 68. During his incarceration, he continued to receive letters of support from constituents who viewed him as a victim of political persecution. Traficant's time in prison didn't diminish his desire for the spotlight. Upon his release, he declared his intention to continue his fight against corruption and hinted at returning to politics. His first public appearance was a speech in Youngstown, where he railed against the IRS and the Federal Reserve, themes that would define his post-prison activities. Number 8. Distinctive personal style and catchphrases. Traficant's signature denim suits, flamboyant toupee, and fiery speeches set him apart in Congress. His speeches often concluded with his famous "Beam me up," which became a rallying cry for constituents frustrated with government overreach. Despite mockery from his colleagues, Traficant's eccentric style endeared him to his base. His fashion choices and combative rhetoric were symbols of his outsider status in Washington. Number 9. Unsuccessful political comeback attempts. After his release from prison, Traficant sought to re-enter politics. In 2010, he ran as an independent candidate for his former congressional seat, campaigning on promises to fight corruption and abolish the IRS. Despite his efforts, he won only 16% of the vote, losing to Tim Ryan. Traficant also became a popular speaker at Tea Party rallies, where his anti-establishment rhetoric resonated with conservative audiences. However, his past convictions and controversial image ultimately prevented him from regaining political influence. Number 10. Tragic death in farming accident. On September 23, 2014, Traficant was driving a 1943 Ford tractor on his family farm in Greenford, Ohio, when it overturned inside a barn. The tractor's steering reportedly malfunctioned, pinning Traficant beneath the vehicle. Rescuers found him unconscious, and he was airlifted to a hospital in Youngstown. Traficant died 4 days later, on September 27, 2014, at the age of 73. His funeral attracted hundreds of mourners, including longtime supporters who viewed him as a champion of the working class. His legacy remains one of controversy, defiance, and a deep connection to the people of Ohio.